Welcome. So this is going to be a short video. I've had a request put in for this for some time, so I finally decided to make it a short video for pelvic stability. So let's jump right in and do some yoga. What I suggest you have for the practice is a yoga strap or a dog leash, bathrobe tie, something such as that, and a yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block, you could use a firm book or a firm pillow. So let's start by lying down on our backs. So once you arrive, you're going to bend your legs. Just draw your knees in lightly, your feet a little bit wider, your arms resting by your sides. This is called alternate rest pose. Often a really nice place to just allow the low back to settle. So we'll start here. Make sure you're comfortable. If your feet are too far forward or too close to you, you might not find ease, so find that easeful place. And just take a moment to breathe deeply, checking in. As you inhale, maybe just sense a lightness. As you exhale, maybe a sense of grounding, stability. Notice how your body is coming to the mat, your mind, your heart. Just embrace however it is that you arrive on your mat today. And we're going to start with a really nice warm up for the low back and the pelvis. So we want our feet now underneath the knees, the arms by the sides. I call this sacral clock. So we're going to be kind of moving the sacrum in all its directions. By doing that, we're warming up and creating just some light strength in this area. So imagine you have a little ball, maybe a little ball of energy, a certain color resting in your navel. As you inhale, tip that ball down like it's going down towards the 6 o'clock on your clock. As you exhale, tip that ball up more towards the 12 o'clock. So stay with that. Inhaling, tipping the ball down towards the 6. Exhaling, tipping the ball up towards the 12. Try to find an evenness in your feet. This is really just a basic pelvic tilt, but we'll be adding on. And then allow that ball to settle down into the middle. And we'll send the ball kind of from the 9 to the 3. So as you inhale, tip it on over towards the 9. Exhale over towards the 3. Keep it going, really slow and mindful. You can visualize that ball. The knees are going to rock a little bit, but try not to rock them to their fullest. We're trying to use some muscles here. Relax across the shoulders, the jaw, the face. Notice your tendency to kind of tighten up in that part of the body. Just really focusing on these little muscles in our core. And then allow that ball to settle back in the middle. And we'll move that ball all the way around this sacral clock. So as you inhale, maybe tip it down towards the 6, over to the 9, the 12, the 3, and back down to the 6. Again, nice and slow. This is allowing the pelvis to move in all its directions. Starting our practice lying down really allows kind of gravity to provide a sense of groundedness in the pelvis. Whenever you're ready, take that clock movement in the other direction. And continue to relax across the upper body. And then allow that ball to settle back out into the middle. Take a full breath or two, simply observing. And then we'll be moving on. So most of our movements here designed to create that sense of stability, a little bit of strength in the back body, maybe a little opening in the front of the body. So let's draw the left leg in, take the hands behind it, interlace, press into your right foot. So just here we're creating a sense of core engagement. Keep your low belly, your back kind of in its neutral position. That means it's a little lift underneath the back. So providing resistance between the hand and the hamstring. Slowly lower your right leg down. Flex that foot. It's almost like we're creating a little tractioning. Lengthening the whole spine. Breathing. Relaxing shoulders. And then mindfully, we'll just take it to the other side. We could hug this leg in. Find a sense of ease, maybe a lengthening out through the low back. And then to the other side. So interlace your hands behind the right leg, flex your foot. Create this resistance between the hands and the thigh. Press into that left foot, turn on your core. And then if you're feeling it, slowly lower that leg down. Keep that foot flexed and active. Like you're lengthening your low back here. And when that feels complete, can gently release. Take a breath to observe. And now we're going to gather up our yoga block. Going to set that block up. Let's start with the medium, or the smallest way, between the inner thighs. The feet are underneath the knees, the hands are down by the sides, and we're going to engage inner thighs and core. So on your next exhale, press evenly into your feet and squeeze that block. Inhale, let it go. Exhale, press into the feet, squeeze the block. Draw the belly in from top to bottom, side to side. As you inhale, let it go a few more times. You might notice as you squeeze that block, press into your feet, you feel a little lengthening out through the sacrum. And when that feels complete, we're going to try just a gentle movement. For me, this really helped me with my sacroiliac issues. So we're going to squeeze the block, get engaged, and then rock your knees a little bit. I tend to lift my pelvis up a little bit. It's almost that tractioning effect again, like lengthening the spine while we're engaging at the same time. Set it down nice and easy. And we'll change the block now to the medium level. Same kind of action in between the inner thighs. Make sure your feet are pointing straight, knees straight ahead, and we'll engage. So root into your feet, exhale, squeeze. Same thing. So really subtle but powerful ways to strengthen, create stability in through the pelvis, through that sacroiliac joint. Drawing it together. That particular joint in our body really isn't meant for a lot of movement. Sometimes if we get really aggressive with our exercise or our yoga practice, it can create instability. So we're working on stabilizing. So we can do that same thing, evenly press into the feet, squeeze the block, and rock your knees. Obviously, if this doesn't feel good to you, just stay with the squeezes. Keep breathing. And slowly release it. Every time we set that tailbone down, feel a little bit more lengthening, a little more ease. Make sure your feet are right underneath your knees. Now we're going to come up into our bridge pose, but not going for a big bridge. Evenly press into the feet, lightly squeeze the block, lift the hips off the floor. And if it doesn't feel good to come into bridge, you can just stay with those squeezes. As we squeeze the block, we're still feeling elongation out through the lower spine, maybe a little spacious feeling in the front of the hips. We can energetically draw the feet closer to us to turn on those hamstrings a little bit. Stay with your breath. And slowly lower down one vertebra at a time. Gonna tuck that tail under a little bit, more length and spaciousness. Set the block aside. Take the feet a little wider, your arms out, maybe into a T, and windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Just a nice release. This is one of my favorite movements for opening the front of the pelvis, the psoas muscle, that tends to be rather tight. Sometimes we linger here to one side, maybe we linger for a breath or two. Drawing the knee down, just breathing fully into the belly, the pelvis, the front of the thigh. Take it over to the other side, a full breath or two. Notice the feet are a little flexed, that protects the knees. So when that feels complete, just take a moment to check in. We didn't do this in the beginning of the practice, but take a moment to just notice your two hip points. Notice if this one is higher than the other. Just observe. So when you're ready, we'll prepare to transition. We'll gently roll to the side. All of our poses here are going to be really low to the earth for that sense of stability and grounding. But we'll do a few movements on our hands and our knees, so we'll come into our tabletop position. So shoulders over the wrists, knees as wide as the hips. Go ahead and take yourself right into your cat and cow. So as you inhale, tip the pelvis forward, lift your heart. Exhale, tuck that pelvis under, draw the belly in. Keep it going. Actually, another option, if you happen to have your block nearby, is to set the block in between the inner thighs as you do your cat and cow. You can try that on if you'd like. That just adds to that sense of strengthening inner thighs, bringing awareness to your pelvis. So when that feels complete, release your block. Come back to your table and we'll do just another really good strengthener. In general, I think I mentioned we want to strengthen the back of the body. Go right ahead if you want to, Jackie. We want to strengthen the back of the body and open the front. So let's do that. Let's take the left leg back behind us, flex that foot, strong core, feel a connection to that core. You might stay right there or reach your right arm forward. So there's a little bit of a balance component, so take the version that serves you. Let it go. As you come down, take that left leg to cross behind the right leg. This is a nice way to stretch the IT band. So you can just cross. You might look towards that toe. Feel a little opening on the left side of the body. The left IT band. Let it go, and we'll take it to the other side. So extend your right leg back behind you, firm your core, and reach your left arm forward. Again, only if you feel guided to do so. As we inhale, we get a little longer, a little bit more length. As we exhale, we feel our core. And let the hand down. You can take that right leg, cross it behind your left leg. Firm your belly, press into the hands, and maybe look towards that left toe. Feel it opening on the right side of your body. A little stretch in that IT band. Unravel, and let's take a little break in child's pose. So the knees are nice and wide, the hips move back towards the heels. We can lengthen our arms forward, we can be real active with the arms, or we can create softness. Just take a moment to breathe fully and deeply all the way down into your pelvis. Just the act of sending deep breath can send a sense of nurturing balance to the body. And it's always nice to bring in a little bit of lateral movement to our body. So let's stretch our arms forward, walk the hands over towards the right. You could stay up, so you draw the belly in, or you could soften the elbows. I tend to reach a little more with the left hand and bend my right arm, resting forehead on arm. So creating length and space down the left side of the body, all the way down through the left side of the pelvis. And when you're ready, come back to center, walk the hands over towards the left. Again, draw back your way to create a little bit of space on the right side of the body all the way down into the pelvis. Come back to center. Just sink into your child's pose one more time. Find an evenness in the body. When you're ready, come back up. And actually, let's do a few things on our belly before we come back onto our back. So let's lower down with a little bit of control. Find the hands under the shoulders, the tops of the feet. Just really reaching back. Sometimes I like to reach one foot back and then the other, creating more space. And let's engage. Let's engage a little bit in the middle of the back. So as you reach actively back with the feet, inhale, lift up into your cobra. Shoulder blades drawing together. Exhale down. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale down. One more time. Really trying to strengthen the back body. Maybe hold at the top, tuck your chin. So we're even strengthening the back of the neck. Lower down. Stretch your arms forward. Pet your puppy. And then holding opposite elbows. First, curl your heels in and windshield wiper them from side to side. Little release to the back. And then stretch your legs back. Just a little targeted strengthening for the inner thighs and the hamstrings. So kind of stay relaxed through the upper body. Next, inhale, reach the right leg up. Keep the left foot pressing down. Exhale down. Inhale, left leg reaches up and back. Exhale down. It's almost like you're taking a slow, mindful walk backwards. Try to engage a little bit more from the inner thigh side of the leg. Strengthening that whole back line. And by keeping one foot pressed down, this really helps stabilize the pelvis. And whenever that feels complete, we'll take the hands back under the shoulders. Keep actively reaching back with the legs. Slide one hand forward and then the other, coming up into another gentle back bend. So we haven't done too much back bending, but notice if your two hip points and your pubic bone feel rooted into the earth. Of course, if this movement or any movements don't feel comfortable for you, feel free to modify this, and we'll all go there if you're ready. We could come down just into crocodile, holding opposite elbows, resting forehead on forearms. The legs are as wide as your mat. Maybe you give your legs a little wiggle. And simply rest and breathe. If it doesn't feel good to rest here, you could take your head from side to side, or draw back into child's pose. Focus again on the fullness of your breath. As you inhale, little sense of lightness. As you exhale, sense of groundedness, stability. And when you're ready, draw those toes back in. Hands under the shoulders. Press your body up. And we're simply going to come back onto our backs. Again, just keeping this practice really targeted to providing some stability and maybe relief for an achy back. So we're going to come down onto our backs. Just take a moment to check in. Maybe you come into that alternate rest pose, knees drawing together, feet a little wider, arms resting. And we're going to close with just a few more movements. This movement you can actually add in for a warm up or even as a cool down. It's a really good way to provide some relief in the pelvis area. So it's called a rabbit kick. So we're going to try to straighten both of our legs. And we're going to take the left leg in. Imagine there's something on that left foot and we want to kick it off. So we can start with a flexed foot, just kick, 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 kick. So we'll provide a little kind of shaking through the body, which is also really therapeutic, particularly for the spine. Keep breathing. Then we can do floppy foot. It's almost like we're kicking off any tension, just ridding it of our bodies. So when that side feels complete, just let the legs come down like you're moving into Shavasana. Observe any difference in warmth, ease, lightness, heaviness in the sides of the body. And we'll do that on the other side. So we'll take the right leg, again, flex the foot to begin, and start that fast little kick. Remember to stay soft in the upper body. Embrace that little bit of shaking that's happening in your body. Big inhales, big exhales. Maybe floppy foot. One side might feel a little different. And when that feels complete, let it go. And just take a moment to observe the body. So now we're going to reach for our strap or tie our dog leash. So this is a really good sequence. A lot of yoga teachers use this for building flexibility. We're going to kind of try to contain it to find more functional flexibility. So we're going to take the strap and bring it around the left foot. So if your back is feeling a little cranky, you could keep this right leg bent, or you could straighten it. Kind of like we did in the beginning of the practice, trying to flex the foot, create a length, but still feel that natural curve in your low back. So again, we're not going for our maximal on flexibility. We can even back out of this sometimes by trying to press the foot into the strap. Strap pulls us back. That creates a little isometric strengthening back here in our hamstrings. Ideally, we want to strengthen the hamstrings more than stretch them. And then when you're ready to transition, hold that strap with the left hand, hug the right leg in. Give it a hug, and we're going to lower that left leg down. So I could move all the way here for a deep stretch in the inner thighs. Inner thighs we really want to strengthen. So come out of it to find kind of a halfway point. By drawing that right leg in, we're creating that lengthening down through the pelvis. Couple of deep breaths. And then draw that leg up. We're going to hold the strap now in the right hand. Imagine your two legs could kind of knit together, so the right leg kind of draws in a little bit, then the left leg crosses, flexing the foot. By doing that, we create that length down through the low back, and we're stretching the outer thigh, that IT band. Keep relaxing your face, your jaw. Inviting stability in through the bones, the muscles. Even our attitude. How do we treat this body? Do we consider it broken? Do we consider it whole? Do we consider it holy? Whenever you're ready, release that strap. If it feels okay, take a moment to straighten the legs. Observe any subtleties. Our yoga practice teaches us to observe. Observe the body, the mind, our reactions. Yoga always asks us to move with ahimsa, non-harming, to ourselves and others. So now gather up your strap. We'll do that on the other side. So strap around the right foot. Again, listen to your body. You might keep this leg bent or you might straighten it out. If you do, flex it. Create that little bit of space underneath the low back, those natural curves. Relax your shoulders. And again, we're not going for super flexibility. We might create that resistance between the strap and the foot. Like we're pressing our foot down and the strap is keeping us there. Notice how that turns on and strengthens those hamstrings, providing more stability. And when you're ready, hold the strap in the right hand. Invite the left knee in, hug it in, and lower that right leg out to the side. Again, not to your maximal level. Find a midway, a middle path. Notice the length out through the tailbone. Notice your full breath. And when you're ready, come back up. We'll hold the strap now in the left hand. That right arm relaxes. That left leg kind of crosses over to the right. The right leg crosses over. So we cross the legs subtly. Flex that right foot. So the hips stay down. Breathing deeply. Gentle stretch through the outer thigh. And in general, we want to stretch the outer thighs, strengthen the inner thighs. All these supporting muscles around the pelvis, supporting it. And when you're ready, release it. And take a moment to observe. And our final pose, we're going to take our legs and we're either going to use a chair or a couch. I happen to have my couch right here. Hold on one second here. Let's do this. Okay, a nice pretty song for you as we relax. So again, a chair or your couch. This is called Legs Up the Couch. Really simple. So I find this super soothing for the low back. So you're going to just sling the legs up and relax. Sometimes I like a little bit more of an inversion, a little bit more elevation, so I might take the block and set it underneath my sacrum. Make sure it's comfortable for you. Sometimes it feels good to just be flat. So notice what feels good for you. And breathe. Sometimes I'll experiment with different leg positions here. You might join the feet, open the knees. This can be really restorative. Again, almost like a little bit of traction. Notice how often I lift up my pelvis, set it down, create a little traction. And always listening to what would be just right for your body. Sometimes in this position I'll draw one knee in just to kind of settle things out a little bit. Draw the other knee in. We can also do a nice opening. We haven't done that much kind of for the glute or the piriformis. You can cross the left leg over the right. Just drawing that knee away. Find that sweet spot. If you have more flexibility, you could release from your couch or your chair and hug in. Be wherever you need to be here. Gently release and take it to the other side. You could just cross the leg over, flex that foot, find some opening in the outer hip, the glute. Or you could release and wrap the hands around that left thigh. And finding your sweet spot to a little opening in the hip. Deep breath. And then release and find a place to rest. So it could be right here. You could like the sensation of the pillow underneath you or behind your head. You could like that bound angle shape. Arms wherever they feel guided to be. As you breathe here, just imagine yourself as whole, stable, and totally in control of your own healing, which may require patience. Please linger here as long as you'd like. Only if you're ready and you want to come down, just really take your time. Just if you had your legs up nice and slowly, rest on one side. Using your hands to gently guide you back into a seated position. Of course, you could stay in your resting position as long as you'd like. Bringing hands to your heart in prayer. Again, just contemplating this idea that you are whole and you are holy. You are wholly made. And filled with divine energy for your own healing. Namaste.